What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. So, in the past, I have talked about Hersheypark in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and out of all of the parks I've been to, it's gotta be up there in the top 10 of my favorites. This park has so much to offer for people of all ages, and has attractions of all kinds for all types of people. Now, today, I wanted to give Hersheypark a little bit of a review, but with a slight twist. As I walk the midways of this beautiful resort, there is a little bit of a quirk that I find in the layout, and I wanted to talk about it today. And in my opinion, it is a great change. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on Hersheypark, and then talk about why it's one of the most unique amusement parks in America. This is Cedar Flags, and today we are going to be taking a look at Hersheypark. So before we get into why I think Hersheypark is super unique, I want to first talk about my general thoughts on the park. Spoiler alert, but like I said, this is one of my favorite parks of all time. And that is simply mainly because of the ride collection and the environment here. It really does have an environment like no other. It has beautiful landscaping, beautiful trees, and a beautiful ride collection as well. I mean, looking at all the coasters, you have such an elite collection, like Candemonium, a great hyper coaster by B&M, you have Fahrenheit, which is a very fast-paced Intamin, and then you have Skyrush, which is the king of coasters, for now, at the park in my opinion. This Intamin hyper rocks. And then you have some other supporting rides like Great Bear and Stormrunner. But then, in 2023, they're going to open up a new coaster, Wildcat's Revenge, and let me just say, this ride may be the crown of the best coaster at Hersheypark. But let's get into why this park is so unique. Well, let's get into that right now. So the reason I think this park is so unique and so pleasing is because it's the best of both worlds. Some parks have that small park environment, mainly the family-owned parks. I talked about this further in another video recently about the beauty of smaller amusement parks, but those just have such a different vibe. They have smaller midways, more landscaping, very scenic paths, and more classic rides. And others have very large amusement park environments, like the chain parks from Six Flags or Cedar Fair. And these have hypercoasters, RMCs, B&Ms, Intamins, and way more thrilling rides. And looking at Hersheypark, this park combines those two perfectly. It is the only park I have been to that feels both like a small park and a large park. For the small park fans and the large park fans, both will absolutely love this place. Other parks try to find their best middle ground between a major chain park and a small traditional park, but I think Hersheypark does it way better. Look at some areas of this park like the Hollow. You have a classic Woody and Comet and very scenic paths, including paths that are just dedicated to scenery alone. And you have the natural beauty, the smaller midways, the free lockers, just the overall park feel. But then, you are also surrounded by massive coasters, like Skyrush and Great Bear, and these examples are found all over the park. Now, the reason I say this is so unique is, you either get one of the two, it seems like. At parks like Cedar Point, Kings Island, or Great Adventure, you could tell that you are at a corporate park. You could tell that this is a massive park with larger midways and larger rides. And when you're at a smaller park like, let's say, Canopy Lake or Knoebels, you are in that small wooded area with smaller midways. And when you're at Hershey, you are surrounded by both. You feel like you're in a classic park surrounded by huge rides. And I would give that credit to its wonderful history. Yes, this is a very classic park dating all the way back to the early 20th century, but it is owned by Hershey, a very wealthy corporation that can afford to put super crazy additions every few years. And that's why you're going to have an RMC, an Intamin Hyper, and other crazy rides in such a nice, quaint park. Honestly, if you can name a park that does this perfectly in the comments below, let me know, because I really have not found a park that does it so well as to Hersheypark. The closest park that I have been to other than Hershey that has gotten to this point is probably Great Escape in New York. Now, this park is owned by Six Flags, but it does have that smaller park feel. The only problem is it is one of the smaller ones, and it is barely touched by Six Flags. But the oddities do not stop there. In the next part of the video, I want to talk about some more minor, but interesting parts of this park that make it very unique. The first reason is the surrounding attractions. Now, there are a few amusement park resorts out there like Disney World, Universal, Disneyland, etc. But I don't think there's an amusement resort as diverse as Hersheypark is. I mean, when you go through Hershey, the town alone, you could tell that it is themed around the spirit of chocolate, and it gives you a perfect introduction for the park you're about to go to. Give me another amusement park resort where you could ride rides, go to multiple water parks, go to a zoo, go to a chocolate world, go to a hockey game, see a concert, and stay at a 5-star hotel. I could really go on and on about the features here, and you could honestly spend like a whole week at this resort. There's so much to do, and there is no way that you're going to do everything in a day. The Hershey Bears, which is their minor league hockey team, and then when you have the zoo, you have Zoo America. With the concert, you have major acts performing at Hersheypark Stadium, and with the 5-star hotel, you have Hotel Hershey, which I have not stayed at personally, but it looks absolutely incredible. And you also have the Hershey Lodge. As someone who has personally stayed there, I would say this is one of my favorite amusement park hotels. And speaking of, I want to talk about reason number 2, which is the Chocolate World. Now, I got to go to this Chocolate World this past year, and this is such a cool thing to do. It seems like something that would be one-off somewhere else, but nope, it is right here. You walk in and you can tell that there's so many different attractions surrounding you. You have a dark ride, which actually isn't in the boundaries of the amusement park, which is very weird to me, but I really like it. You could ride a ride here without going inside the actual park. I think that's really cool. And it's less of a thrilling ride and more of a scenic ride telling you about the history of the Hershey Corporation. And you also have many other attractions. You could build your own Hershey's bar, you could build your own Reese's Cup. There is so much to do here. There's a theater, there's some courses that you could take on chocolatiering. It is such a cool place. And you could honestly spend the good half of a day at Hershey's Chocolate World alone. Now, the final reason I think that this park is super unique in this way is that this park with so many coasters, people cannot decide what their number 1 is. I've talked to many people that have said that Fahrenheit's their number 1, same with Storm Runner being the number 1 for its amazing launch and elements, and then you have people that say Candemonium is for its graceful elements and its long layout, and then you have the Skyrish fans, me included, the people that think there is nothing better than getting thrown out of your seat, but like I said, there is a new challenger in town. With the addition of Wildcat's Revenge, this might be one of the best and most well-rounded collections on the planet. I mean, as someone who lives by Cedar Point, I think this could truly match up with Cedar Point's. I think the only thing that this park is truly missing is an inverting flat ride. Now, they have something close in the Claw, but they don't have something that goes fully upside down. They added a set of drop towers, and they have, like I said, the Claw, but I feel like with a great flat ride collection, this could possibly be the best park in North America. So, for a conclusion of this video, this park is super unique for many reasons, including that it has the feeling of a small park, but has one of the biggest coaster collections in the world, plus all of the features from outside the park, and the fact that the number 1 coaster is oftenly debated. So, let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about Hersheypark, one of my favorite parks, and it's going to be even better in the years to come. This is Cedar Flags, and I'll see you all later.